Jim Jones walked into Shannon Sharpe's nightcap show like a man with nothing to lose and everything to prove. Mid-conversation, he dropped a line that cracked hip-hop Twitter in two. "I'm way more influential than Nas." The studio went silent for half a second, just long enough for the internet to inhale, before Sharpe pounced, pressing Jim on the spot. Clips of the face-off shot across IG Reels, TikTok, and X at warp speed, sparking a generational shouting match by nightfall. Yet the uproar on social media was only the opening tremor. Offstage, 50 Cent lobbed a single wordless Instagram repost, an old meme labeling Jim Individual 1, the federal nickname that once echoed through Tekashi 6ix9ine's racketeering trial. No caption, no punchline, just quiet smoke. In hip-hop, silence that intentional feels like a trapdoor creaking open. By the time fans realized what had surfaced, old wiretaps, 20-year grudges, and a fresh gym challenge between a Hall of Fame tight end and Harlem's loudest diplomat, the story had already mutated into something far bigger than a spicy podcast quote. This is how a single boast detonated decades of buried tension, and why the next move could come from a courtroom, a stadium stage, or a Troll King's Instagram stories. Keep watching, because every chapter you thought was closed is about to flip open like a sealed indictment. The Nightcap episode aired on June 21st, 2025, but it felt like 1997 all over again. Primetime tense, eyes glued to every syllable. Jim doubled down on his claim that Gen Z barely recognizes Nas, arguing the Queensbridge legend is an idol to your era, not theirs. Sharpe wasn't buying it. He peppered Jim with rapid-fire questions. "Are you serious? Have you checked Nas's numbers lately?" The clip racked up millions of views in under 24 hours, with comments ranging from "Jim's trolling for streams" to "Shannon just became hip-hop's hall monitor." One viewer wrote, "A retired NFL tight end is defending Nas harder than half the rap game. What timeline is this?" Another quipped, "Jim, the BB Simon Belt era ended when TikTok discovered thrift stores." Memes piled up so fast the algorithm practically begged for mercy. Yet while everyone argued in the comments, a single repost from 50 Cent began simmering under the surface, one that reached far beyond podcast banter. But before we unpack 50's silent grenade, we need to rewind 2 decades to see why Nas's name hits Dipset nerves like salt on an open wound. Flashback to June 2002. Nas phones into Hot 97 for what should have been a routine promo call. Instead, he unloads a scathing rant, dismissing Cam'ron's Come Home With Me as trash and jabbing at the entire Dipset movement for dumbing down rap. That one outburst lit a fuse under Harlem. Jim Jones, still the crew's enforcer turned hype man, took it personally, launching a barrage of mixtape missiles that felt less like music and more like street corner warnings. Ironically, Jim had once idolized Nas. He'd study Illmatic verse patterns, mimic Nas's Queen's hustle chic fits, even credit the barbecue freestyle with inspiring his own cadence. But beef flips admiration on its head. By 2004, Jim was threatening to smack the kufi off Nas and wearing Dipset pink like battle paint. The cycle that would define their relationship, respect shade, respect deeper shade, was born. 2 decades later, the same cycle resurfaced, but this time another kingpin decided to slide a chess piece across the board, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. On January 9th, 2025, 50 reposted an old meme tagging Jim Jones as Individual 1. No caption, no soundtrack, just the image and the loaded nickname born inside a federal courtroom. To understand why that label still stings, jump back to September 2019. During Tekashi 6ix9ine's testimony, prosecutors played a wiretapped call allegedly involving Jim and 9 Trey figurehead Mel Murda, discussing how to violate Tekashi for cooperating. Court records never confirmed the voice and Jim was never charged, but the streets stamped the nickname on him like a digital scarlet letter. 50, ever the opportunist, trolled Jim back then with mock fright videos. "I'm afraid for my life, Jimmy is gang," then deleted them. Reposting the meme in 2025 told fans everything. The files are still within reach, and petty season never ends. Speculative framing. Blogs claim 50 keeps a vault of unreleased receipts, wiretap snippets, dated DMs, half-finished diss tracks, waiting for the right trigger. There's no public proof that cache exists, but every quiet move he makes feeds the legend. Yet 50's move was only fuel. Jim had already cracked open Pandora's box on podcast, baiting anyone with a mic. Next stop, Fat Joe and Jadakiss's couch. On Fat Joe and Jada's Joe and Jada show, Jim sat between two Bronx icons and effectively tripwired himself. When pressed on influence, he claimed younger fans copied his style. BB Simon belts, stacked denim, ad-libs, while Nas barely pops up on their radar. Older heads watching felt their blood pressure spike. Younger viewers spammed the chat with laugh cry emojis. Reddit and TikTok dissected the episode like forensic analysts. One 19-year-old posted, "Jim told me how to rock chrome hearts. Nas told my dad how to stash cash behind the radiator. Different eras." Another, well past 40, fired back, "Without Nas, you don't get half the vocabulary your favorite rapper steals." The comment war became a mirror. Culture is evolving, but nostalgia refuses to die quietly. Numbers, however, paint a different picture. Nas sold out Madison Square Garden in April 2024 on the King's Disease III run, at age 50, without relying on openers half his age. Jim's last two projects, Back in My Prime, with hit Maka, and 231st, earned solid critical nods but skimmed past mainstream chatter. Streams, respectable, impact, that's the hot debate. But music metrics can't account for fear, and fear is the currency that makes or breaks influence in rap. Which brings us back to 50 Cent's favorite pastime, strategic bullying. As keyboard warriors argued stats, 50 kept trolling nocturnally, and Jim sought a brand new arena to flaunt dominance, an actual arena. The Sharpe debate swerved offbeat when fitness trash talk surfaced. Jim invited Shannon to any gym, public or private, to prove who still moves like an athlete. Sharpe, never shy, accepted. The exchange went viral a second time, spawning split-screen TikToks of Shannon's 500-pound deadlifts versus Jim's shirt-off pull-up videos. On the surface, it looked like good-natured banter, but fans sensed the subtext. If Jim can't silence the NS narrative lyrically, maybe he can outwork, outsweat, and outcontent the critics, turning a rap debate into a lifestyle flex. Influencers smelled content gold, wagering crypto bets on who would gas out first. Sharpe, meanwhile, doubled as hip-hop's new hype man, telling viewers, "If you're 40 plus still arguing rap relevance with me, you already lost unless you can keep up in the weight room." The challenge blurred sport and culture, turning a lyrical feud into fitness clickbait. Yet behind the kettlebells and clout, 50 Cent's IG remained ominously quiet, a still lake before a crocodile surfaces. If fitness contests and podcast jabs command this much attention, imagine what happens when the quietest player finally speaks. Or refuses to. Silence in hip-hop can feel like defeat unless you've already proven your pen can send shockwaves from Queensbridge to Silicon Valley. Nas hasn't dropped a single response tweet. He's too busy adding international dates to his sold-out run and quietly investing in tech ventures the blogs barely cover. Fans joke that he's rehearsing Ether 2, but insiders say he's unfazed, choosing legacy over clapback. History backs him up. Nas let Jay-Z talk for almost a year before answering with Ether, arguably the most lethal diss in rap. He ignored Lil Pump's 2018 attempt to bait him entirely. Silence, for Nas, isn't surrender, it's a timer. Nobody knows how long it's set for. But in 2025, the battlefield isn't just wax, it's algorithms, legal docs, and brand deals. A misstep can cost streaming placements, corporate sponsorships, or worse, attract federal attention. So Nas watches, maybe laughs, and maybe waits for 50 Cent's next move, knowing every second of restraint compounds the pressure on Jim to deliver something era-defining. And while Nas meditates, 50 polishes his reputation as hip-hop's petty overlord, weaponizing quiet more effectively than some artists weaponize lyrics. In rap, the threat of legal fallout often stings harder than a diss verse. 50's repost of Individual 1 nudged a dormant rumor back into headlines. Did Jim escape charges in 2019 by playing a game smarter, some say shadier, than Tekashi? Officially, there's no proof of cooperation, no indictment, no deposition. Defense attorneys call the chatter fan fiction. Prosecutors never confirm the voice on the tape, but in the court of public perception, uncertainty alone can be fatal. Rumors circulate that 50 still holds the rest of the call, unclipped, unbleeped. Is that claim verifiable? Not yet. Even if true, releasing federal evidence on social media is a legal minefield, but for 50, simply hinting at ownership keeps the tension sizzling. Fans refresh his IG stories like day traders watching crypto charts waiting for the next cryptic post. Jim, in response, switches between flex and deflect. 1 minute, he's reposting Bird Gang nostalgia, writing, "Why you keep lying lol." The next, he's issuing gym date ultimatums to Sharpe. It's savvy. Every new post reroutes commentary from federal whispers back to bravado. Yet the whispers never fully die, they just wait for quiet to grow loud again. With stakes this layered, street clout, generational bragging rights, potential legal shadows, one final wildcard remains: the possibility Naza actually fires back. If Naze steps out with a diss track, legacy rules suggest it won't be a casual jab. Think surgical bars dissecting decades of claims, chart statistics, and maybe even gym numbers. The backlash could eclipse Jim's entire catalog in a single news cycle. If Nace stays silent, 50 may grow restless and drop another IG bomb, forcing Jim into defense once more. Meanwhile, Shannon Sharpe keeps the lights on, inviting both artists, or their trainers, to settle it on a mixed reality pay-per-view workout. Sponsors are reportedly circling, seeing dollar signs in every bench press challenge and lyrical subtweet. Podcast culture has transformed rap beef into episodic content, each new clip a potential brand split revenue stream. Yet an even darker possibility lurks: the wiretap that never made daylight. If federal leaks surface, the narrative leaves the studio and heads straight to the courthouse. Suddenly, influence debates morph into legal drama, and everyone's bravado turns to lawyer-approved statements. So we watch, phones in hand, because silence, noise, and rumor are now intertwined. The next chapter could be a surprise Nas single, a 50-cent documentary teaser, or a federal PDF stamped Exhibit A. In this game, nobody knows until the notification pops. Jim Jones wanted the world to measure influence in internet seconds and viral gym bets. Nas chose silence, forcing us to measure influence in decades and sold-out arenas. 50 Cent reminded everyone that the loudest voice isn't always the most dangerous. Sometimes the deadliest weapon is a screenshot with no words at all. Whichever metric you value, remember this: rap history loves a reset button, and one is hovering right now. Will Nas finally break the quiet? Will 50 pull a deeper receipt? Or will Jim pivot again, proving relevance isn't a ranking but a talent for keeping the spotlight? Stay tuned. Because in an era where podcasts bleed into courtrooms and workout challenges double as reputation currency, the next push notification could rewrite everything you just watched. And if it drops, you'll want to be here first. So hit like, smash subscribe, and ring that bell if you think silence can be louder than any diss track.